All right, welcome back, DFC. We've been gone a little while, so we've got probably more to cover than y'all want to listen to.
Yeah, lots to talk about, starting with, we got is it a new boat or an old boat? What did we get, Trent?
We got an updated version of an old boat.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
And I mean,
so however it's going to be, however we're going to like umbrella it, Nautique re-released the 200 on the sort of right on the heels of the 2019 Nautique. Ski Nautique re-released the Ski Nautique 200. So I mean, that boat was heralded, it was loved, it was revered. People loved to drive it. People loved to drive it. People, for the most part, loved to ski behind it. It wasn't always everyone's opinion, but for the most part, it was wildly successful. The new 200, the re-released 200, I know has a different deck, a different top, a different shell. The wet surface is exactly the same. I know that the storage lockers from the photos I've seen are gone, although the cavity is still there. They're just kind of a step down. The new screen from the Nautique is there, which is a wild improvement over the last one. And then they've sea-decked it from top to
sea-decked a lot of it.
Yeah. So, and that's just, that's personal preference. If you're someone that loves the sea-deck, then you're going to love this. If if you're not into the way we're not going to get into the positive and negatives, it's sea-decked. But that screen is far, far better than what they were offering in the past. And there's just people that, didn't want to wrap their brains around that new boat, or maybe people that didn't want to let go of the 200. I'm not sure who this boat is being aimed at. Someone that didn't want to, a huge price increase, while apparently this boat is going to have a small price increase over the last 200. But John, who is this boat aimed at? Because I'm not really sure.
Well, it's interesting because the naming nomenclature I think is confusing for people. But the new boat, the Nautique, the Ski Nautique, the new boat, the $130,000 boat.
I think it'd be the boat that we're going to. I think it'd be the Craft Nautique. Is I think the way it would be.
No, because Craft is the parent company. Ski Nautique is the boat company, and Ski Nautique is the boat. Yeah, it's really it's funny to watch my webform.
It's the Ski Nautique then.
Right. Yeah, or the ski. So the super expensive boat is what we're going to see in tournaments. Mm-hmm. And of course, full disclosure, this is all rumor mill, so this may be fluid. But my understanding is we're only going to see the new expensive boat with the 6.2 motor at tournaments. And then the old 200, which is now being manufactured in Tennessee, and it has taken some other refreshes kind of under the surface. I think it's not the economy boat, but it's the less expensive. It's the Tug. It's the Everyman. And if the rumor mill is to be believed, it's only going to come in the 6-liter, which to me, if I was going to own a 200, the 6-liter is kind of the gold standard. I don't. Some of the other engine choices are not my preference. I'm not going to disparage them, but
I don't think they're. Okay, while it is the less expensive boat, though, their aim is absolutely not, because we don't want to confuse this with what Centurion's kind of mantra was. This is not the tugboat, because if it was the tugboat, they wouldn't have upgraded the screen. They wouldn't have bothered with the top deck change. It wouldn't have changed anything. So I'm, obviously, wearing a Mastercraft hat, I don't need to understand it, but I don't understand it. This to me, if from a radar, so I work for Radar. From our perspective, that'd be like if, on the heels of the Vapor Pro build, we re-released the Strata, or we re-released the 2017 shape, or on the heels of the 2014 Pro Star, the very next year we re-released our old boat. But that being said, you know, the 200 people loved that boat. And from my perspective, the new Nautique in comparison to the 200, I prefer it to ski it. I prefer it to drive it. So, you know, I think maybe they're just trying to cover their bases just in case this boat doesn't go as well as they hope, but I'm not sure.
Right. I prefer the 200. I don't know what's. But yeah, I think that's good for this conversation. But I do think maybe the logic is it's kind of like Lexus Toyota, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah.
Perhaps. I mean, it's a top of the line. It's not an inexpensive Toyota, but it's not the Lexus.
Yeah.
And so whatever. The confusion is if people buy a lot of the 200s and then they go to tournaments, they're not getting the boat that they're practicing behind, which maybe only really matters to trick skiers. And the trick skiers, the difference is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And the new boat, if you're a trick skier, the new boat is highly regarded.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, it doesn't come with a tower, I don't believe, the new boat. But I understand with the ballast system, it's actually a pretty good wakeboard boat. So it's actually a better crossover boat, which, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean
good for people at Craft.
Yeah, but just in keeping with that, I just I have a lot of friends that are high level trick skiers, and yeah, they love that new boat, and it's not just because of that ballast, because I know some really high level trickers that run zero ballast, and they're still upside down over the wake, no pun intended. But yeah, new boat, the new re-released 200.
Right. It's okay. So awesome. So we'll see those this spring. I don't know anybody that's even actually seen one yet. And of course, the rumors are out there that it's heavier. I don't know if that's true.
And also, just one last thing. You had mentioned that you're only going to see the Nautique, the new boat, the new shaped boat at tournaments. That's not necessarily true though, because yes, only the promo boats are going to be the new shape. But right. I mean, if you own a 200 and you want to use it at a tournament, you're absolutely more than welcome because it's already passed boat test. So that whole just sort of given like who's gravitating towards which boat and how successful the new shape is, that's probably going to determine what boats you see at tournaments. But yeah, the 200's back.
Okay. Yeah. Great. All right. So moving on, we've got 3 tournaments to skim over here. Brings us to King of Darkness, and Trent, I got to give you credit for pointing this out to me. Probably the most interesting thing about the King of Darkness tournament is all the way down in what place did he get? All the way down in 9th place, Jason Seals, who went 220. So I assume you've got a lot more background in this than I can pull up, but so tell the folks at home why that's so important.
Well, I mean, just to me, it was like just watching the the prelims, and Jason is I'm not sure his age, but I mean he has to be 40. I just because I know we've skied against each other forever, and I know some injuries took him away from not from the sport because he's always been active coaching and things like that, but took him away from competing, and then all of a sudden here's this 40-year-old going 220 in the prelims. So for me, it was just it just in keeping with what we're watching Freddie do, in his early 40s, still winning almost everything. Watching Scott Ellis, I'm not going to guess how old he is. I know I'm 42. I know he's older than I'm guessing he's getting into his late 40s. Watching him still be on the podium with these kids every weekend, and then now we're just Jason Seals the next guy. So I'm just curious. Okay, so now next year is it Ryan, Freddie, Scott Ellis, Jason Seals? Are we going to see this? Are we going to see Jason kind of chasing this thing again? Like maybe a little bit of a lease on life. So or his competitive jump life anyway. So it was pretty cool, really cool. It's an event that the organizers, for lack, they get it. It's about putting on a show, number one, catering to the athletes, number two. So it's putting pro skiing in a venue where it's conceivably viable again, in keeping with Jay Bennett and his LA Night Jam series that he did for years. This thing was well attended, well received, and the skiing was incredible.
Right. So the other story, and I don't know the answer to this, but the other story here is, where was Ryan?
You know, a good friend of mine, I don't know for sure. I don't know if he gets to this time of year, and given that it's not a world year, it's not by accident. I know that. So if I had to guess, I hear lots of people say, well, it's because it's Mastercraft. No, that's not true, because Ryan goes to Malibu Open, and no. So I don't think it's that. If I had to guess, not speaking for him, given that it's not a world year, and I know events like the Worlds are, I would safely guess, more important than anything for Ryan, that he takes an opportunity to shut it down super early, you know, not necessarily get off the water, but get away from tournaments and get away from the wear and tear and get back into, you know, getting his body back where it's going to need to be for next year. That's my guess.
All right. Well, so that brings us to the actual podium. First place, no surprise, Freddy Krueger. You know, I mean, I love the guy. I hold him in very high regard, but seeing him win every event, I'm cheering for the underdog most of the time. But you know,
I mean, I love watching both those guys win.
Freddie.
You know, Ryan or Freddie. You know, great friends with both of them. Freddie is he's like my LeBron James, though. I mean, I'll watch LeBron win every year. I'm just to witness greatness, you know, and Ryan's the same way.
Right.
But you know, just Freddie's been doing it so long, and that's growing up. That's holy crap. That was what, you know, captivated, you know, my attention. So yeah, to get to witness greatness weekend after weekend after weekend, and now well into his 40s, I love it. Where did Garcia?
Hold on, I'm getting there. So second, I'm getting there. Hold on. So second place is Igor Morozov,
Nice.
who I've never met, but apparently seems, from all the media I've seen, just a hysterical human being. And then third place, the man that I think will be the best jumper in the world soon, Taylor Garcia.
I agree.
I think when, you know, he's either going to push Freddie and Ryan out, or when Freddie and Ryan step aside, if it's not Taylor's world, I'll be really surprised.
No, and I think it'll be the former. I think it's not going to be when either of those guys get bored of winning. It's going to be when he finds that extra tenth of a percentile that puts him, that just, you know, it's the way this thing has gone on. I mean, you know, it's same with Ryan. Like, it's not like Freddie got bored with winning. It just, all of a sudden, Ryan just, holy shit, just found that last gear that, you know, that Freddie doesn't always keep up with. So yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. Just in getting to spend some time with him throughout this summer, watching, not only on the water, but watching him off the water. That kid is special. So yeah, I think you're right. It's his time is coming.
All right, and then, you know, honorable. I mean, Tom Asher, not a young man, jumped 220.
Raging Cajun.
Rodrigo jumped. Rodrigo jumped 218. So, you know, these guys are not playing.
Yeah.
So that was King of Darkness. Then we move to South America, to Chile. Two events which you attended and did very well on. Congratulations on gold medal twice. Pan Am's team competition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look through the results, it's a little bit odd because there's not a lot of contestants in a lot of the divisions.
Yes. So it's I'm going to clarify it a little bit. I'm going to screw something up because I can't really quite remember, but it's team only. So like the World Championships is a team event, obviously, but you can qualify as an independent based on your world ranking. So the Pan Am's, why it's different is it eliminates that. You are there as a team member for your country only. So that's why it's such a different field than you're used to seeing at World Championships.
Right. So you'll see, like, there's some divisions that only had 4 skiers in them, which, you know, and until that was explained to me, I thought that was quite odd.
Yeah. And given also that it was a December tournament, it was hard for some of the some of the northern countries. There's only one. There's Canada, and then a little bit less northern is the U.S. because the rest are all obviously down on the equator in the southern hemisphere. But yeah, I mean, I know for Canada it was hard to fill some of those because there's a ton of teams. There's the junior team, the under 17, the under 21. There's an elite team. There's a plus 35, a plus 45, a plus 55, a plus 55. So there's all these teams. So for even for the states, it was hard to fill all those teams just because of the climate. Where the athletes are from.
Right. So a couple of standouts, a couple of things I thought are newsworthy, and I'm going to apologize for screwing up this young man's first name, but the thing in tricks that caught my attention was in the under 17. I think they just call him Patio Font, but it's
Pato, I think, right?
Patricio Pato, I don't know, but this under 17 young man tricked 11-3 2 rounds in a row. So under 17. I don't know what his world ranking is, but that gets my attention. This is a future world champion tricker kind of kid.
Yep, absolutely incredible. I think we won't spend a lot of time on this event, but I think from there, what really stood out for me was Robert Pagozzi.
Right.
In the prelims, he banged out. I think he ran 1 of 41, which. Isn't that outstanding, but when you look at the rest of the field, I mean, he was almost a pass ahead of anyone, including Nate Smith.
Yes. So, and again, maybe that is the news, and I think that we'll see this theme in the year-end wrap-up is that Nate is not completely infallible. He got a 2.5 at 39 in the prelims, which. We saw him miss a couple of 39s in tournaments this year. I forget. It was somewhere else where he just lost the handle. But going back historically, he runs 39 like I run 32.
Not to make sure that everyone understands we're not piling on him because the infallible Nate Smith proceeded to win in the finals the next day.
Yes.
But no, I mean, Pagozzi put out a heck of a good score in the first round, and then followed up. He ended up second to Nate in the finals, but it's just it's I don't know, but something about that site that some people just never felt that comfortable there. The big thing is the buoys were, especially the Pan Ams, the buoys were massive, and that's like this is not like like a coddled ex-professional water. The buoys were massive. I haven't seen anything like that since the 1980s. There was something about them to get the height they wanted. I don't know if they were oblong, but something was wrong. Like to get to the height they wanted, some of the buoys you could actually see where the circumference changed. It was actually like the buoys were coming back in on themselves. They were massive, massive, massive. So I know I had heard from one of the drivers, that was a comment that Robert had made, that that was why he was a little bit leery. But apart from that, I mean, the lake was perfect. So I think if there was something to blame or something to point their fingers at, it would be the size of the buoys. However, Regina also ran 1 at 41 and 1.5 at 41. So
yeah, but nothing gets in Regina's way. Coming to the end of that, so Pagozzi skied well, and the buoys were huge. Nate came back and ran 2 at 41 in the final, so that's not really out of range for Pagozzi. I mean, that's it. He could have lost Pan Am's right there.
Yeah, I know. Watching that too, it was like watching it all develop. When Nate ran 2, Pagozzi on the dock, having ran 1 in the prelims, I was like, oh, this could be Pagozzi's second win, but yeah, he ended up missing 39.
Yeah, which is super unfortunate. And then, again, like you said, I think scores were not super high. A little off. You think?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit low. It was just kind of a weird thing where you kept hearing the comment like, it just skis kind of weird, but it didn't ski weird. I think really in the case of the Pan Ams, it really was just the size of the buoys, which it was no one's fault. Like Miranda's site is amazing, and even it was just the way the TC. The way the buoys were shaped for the TC to follow the rules, the way he follows the rules, which is super admirable and it's great. The buoys had to be super high. So I don't know
Right.
why they had to be that high, but I trust they did, and it kind of was what it was. They were the same for everyone. So
Okay. All right. So moving on to Senior Worlds. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Over 35 champion. The thing that I love about your event, of course, this was a week later back in Chile, right? Is that your podium is yourself, Dave Wingerter, who I think industry insiders all know who he is, but I'm not sure the vast skiing community knows what a good skier he is, and that he's vice president of product and sales at HO, and just a generally super sincere, nice guy. And then in third place, Stisher, who might be the funniest human being I know. So that podium is just like
it's really cool, man.
I'm assuming you guys went out for beers.
It was awesome. Dave Wingard and I have skied together since we were kids. At Carl Burgess' place, then Wade Cox's place, and then like Seth Stisher and I have skied against each other again. Since we were kids. So it was really, really cool. That's it.
And then it's like Pan Am's. This is a big tournament. So hats off to a lot of people that came home with gold medals. The over 45 group looked like a big dog final. It was Kyle Tate, Todd Johnson, Todd Kuykendall, kind of you'd expect to see that at a U.S. Nationals kind of thing. Well, not Todd Johnson, but he's Canadian. Dave Miller won the over 55.
Yeah.
Kind of back to how hard these events are, and it's probably not the buoys, but Greg Vidal is maybe the most consistent elite 55K skier I know, certainly on the West Coast. I mean, he's infallible, and somehow he fell around 3 ball at 35 off, and
in the finals.
If in the finals, and if Greg ever falls again at 35 off, it'll be a miracle. I mean, the guy is that good. That shows me how hard this event is.
Yeah, I think it happened and he was gone, and I would have liked to have spoken with him, but I didn't get the opportunity. I believe he literally flew home that night. Not that I blame him, but he's a busy dude and got stuff to take care of. But whatever it was, whatever from his end of the handle, however he thought the thing played out, it's different. There's no free rounds. There's no when you stack up into a big head to head and you're the top seed, you're gonna get two passes basically. You're gonna get 2 easy walks or 3 easier walks. You have one chance to make the cut. From those guys would have been from 40 to 10, and then you've got one chance. So the Worlds adds just a little different level, especially because it's only every 2 years. You miss this one, and you might not be healthy enough to go to the next one. So it makes it tougher.
Going through the rest of the results, kind of gleaning things out that was noteworthy to me. I was really kind of stoked to see in the over 65 women to see Cindy Benzel there. One of the people that have been around the sport forever. When I was a little kid, Cindy and her husband Dave ran my parents' ski school here in California. Yes. So seeing her win slalom, that's just kind of awesome to me.
It was really cool. It was really cool. And then, hold on one sec. I'm just going to move this camera a little bit. So I got a little bit of a funny story then. In keeping with that, then, yes, it was really amazing. She skied incredibly well. She won slalom. Did she win tricks?
I don't know. I think she won overall. Hang on. I'm looking.
I think she won overall. But I'm pretty sure she won tricks also. You better look. Just
Nope. She got second in tricks.
Okay, but she won slalom. So imagine this then. Cindy, myself, and then Lori Covington Kruger and Brandy Nagel, we all shared a rental car together.
Awesome.
So we were like absolutely inseparable all week. And then our van was being dubbed by the U.S. as a gold medal van because you couldn't ride unless you won something. So, but no, it was really cool. She skied incredibly well. Lori Covington Kruger, she up against Brendan Nichols, and so if you followed pro skiing back in the 90s, you would have. I shouldn't have said that. Back in the late 90s into the early 2000s, sorry girls, you would have known that these two were like, I mean, these were like, two of the juggernauts back and forth, kind of battling. Lori won slalom, she won jump, and she won overall. With, Brenda battling her and pushing her through the whole thing. So that was really cool. The biggest takeaway for me though was definitely the the race for plus 35 overall.
You're talking about the women or the men?
The men.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So I mean, it was Rodrigo Miranda, who we just talked about, who is one of the greatest jumpers in the world currently, pro jumpers in the world. He jumped whatever 225 at the night jump in Orlando, and he was pitted against, of all people, fresh out of retirement, Jimmy Simmers. Arguably the greatest skier of our generation, the greatest overall skier. So he dusted him off, got himself into borderline phenomenal shape again. And I mean, Jimmy did it, man. He did like 210 in the prelims. He didn't slalom real well.
He can't. He doesn't.
he can. He didn't. But so the jump prelims was Jimmy he banged off 210 to Rodrigo's I think 209, and people were floored. People knew Rodrigo was going to jump that far. People had absolutely no idea that Jimmy still jumped.
Does he?
He went 210 in the prelims, so.
Yeah, but did he practice?
Well, it depends who you ask. He says almost not at all, but yeah. Then in the Jimmy tricked 10.25 in the finals to win.
10.230. I'm sorry, yeah, 10.230 in the finals.
We're talking 20. Anyway.
Yeah.
He tricked 10.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. I
he tricked 10-2 in the finals to win.
Right.
And then the overall was going to come down to jump, and Jimmy had a nice lead, even though Rodrigo outslalomed him by almost a full pass, 5.5 buoys. It was still going to come down to jump, and Rodrigo with 209 to Jimmy's. I'm going to say 208 because it was awful close to that. Sorry if it's not as accurate as 10.23.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Rodrigo won jump on his home side in front of his federation, his parents, his family, his brothers. One jump, but Jimmy still took the overall. But it was like watching the Worlds 10 years ago, dude. It was awesome. And with that, I will be absolutely floored, shocked if we don't see Jimmy at the Elite Worlds next year competing for overall. I feel like that's where he's at. I really do. I think he's going to remember that he knows how to run 38. And he went 210 off a 5.5 a jump. So I mean, that's. Gosh, I hope so.
Well, so let's remember that 15 years ago, plus or minus, he was world jump record holder and I believe 2-time world overall champion. Yeah. So
I mean, he won Moomba this year. That's what's so sweet is like in the same calendar year, Jimmy Simmers wins Moomba, like one of the most prestigious elite events, pro events of the year, and then wins plus 35. So I mean, not that this event needed anyone to lend it credibility, but the plus 35 had two, one of the best pro jumpers in the world, and one of the best pro trickers in the world competing, and battling, dude. Like this wasn't these guys weren't just sandbagging down to an event. This was on their calendar as the most important event of the year, and they showed up. It was cool. It was really fun to watch. I literally didn't miss a single moment of that event. There was just from watching Steve Raphael and Mike Bray in the plus 65s, you know, to Lori and the girls in the plus 45s. Chef Tina Lindsay, you know, other people I coach here in Texas. There was just it was a fun event, man. I was honored to be a part of it.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that wraps us up for today. We'll get a end of the year wrap up show either late December, early January. Okay. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Trent.
Thanks, y'all. Later.